Hello again, this is part 2 of the craft room tour, January 2019, I should mention that. Between part 1 and part 2, the family got home and I ran out of battery, so it's all good timing actually. Plus I managed to get 3/4 of the way through my project, so I used tablecloth cut into 2-inch strips, and I'm slowly tying them around the hula hoop, and then they'll dangle. This will dangle from a tree outside, so it'll be waterproof, unlike the paper streamers. And it's pretty rainbow colored, so that should be fun. But back to the craft tour. We've pretty much finished off half the room, and now we're at the sewing. It was originally just a sewing table, but I've since gone vertical, and because I have a window above my craft desk, I've gone vertical over my sewing desk, but it's all really interchangeable. I do have 2 sewing machines here, my normal one and a serger with a few mending projects there, hanging a few scissors and bits and bobs that normally get hung up here, along with my level I use that all the time for hanging photos, and then thread, string, and then those are just more buttons for mending. It's, you know, the buttons you get with clothes when you buy them. So, but the fun part are these ones. I might just step back. So these are IKEA shelves. I've got 3. The top one is yellow, which I painted using the chalk paint. One thing to note is painting on IKEA stuff, sand it first, even if the chalk paint says no sanding necessary. I'm standing at this angle because you can see the bottom one is wider than the other 2. So the other 2 are the old ones, and the bottom one is the new, I think these are the lac shelves. So that's the design of the new, what you can get now in IKEA stores, whereas the top 2 are the old ones. So the top one was black originally, I painted it yellow. The middle one was originally white, and the bottom one is a new one that's white. And the reason I'm showing this is because the old ones aren't wide enough for distressed ink pads, but the new ones are. So it used to be just like a 1/4 inch too narrow to fit in distressed full ink pads on. But the new shelves work, so woohoo! So I've got all my distress oxides that I'm slowly collecting, and then these are the distress inks, the original ones, plus a little quotes pad that I just like to read occasionally. I keep all on the next shelf. I have all my Novo drops plus stickles, even Fray Stop sort of stuff there. I also keep my wooden background stamps up here. I only have the 4, but they just fit nicely up here. And they're out of the way, and they're quite wide, so they didn't fit on the other side anymore. And then here are the necessities for in the house. So I have Stanley, which is the screwdriver that also has a ratchet thing for screwing and unscrewing things. My tape measure, my stud finder, and then here is like the needle nose pliers, my wire pliers, and for cutting die cuts apart, and that sits there, so it's essential. And the top one is just keepsakes. I keep up there since it's a bit too high to reach. It's a nice place to display all them, which is kind of why I like that one being yellow, because it's special as far as that's where the keepsakes go. And then these are my newest finds. These are the best thing ever from Kmart Australia. They, I believe, are, look, I think they're either $10 or $15. They were super cheap. I'm thinking they're $15. I got 2 of them. They are about that wide, and I needed more places to store inks and other goodies. So I've got a few empty ones that I've just filled with a few cards for now, because I know I'll fill the space eventually. I keep all my floss in this one here. I have these alpha stamps or other crafty projects around the house. That's my sea glass that I collected along the beach. And then I have all my Ulta New ink pads, which I'm also putting the hearts on. I haven't finished yet, but they fit really nicely here. I can get 3 cubes across here, or I can get 2 different stacks here. I might have to go higher, but at the moment I don't need to. And then just another spot to keep some keepsakes. Again, more Altenew inks, and then my Catherine Pooler inks sit in those 3, and they sit nicely so you can see them quite well still in the colors. Here I have another one of these 2-sided things, and I keep all my gouache in here. And then I have my Dr. Phil Martin's Hydrus inks, and then I had some black ink as well. So, and then just a jar to fill the empty gap, really. Below the desk, well, I do have this little container. It just got all sorts of bits and pieces in it. My notepad with all my notes that I like to take when shopping, because it has like what Copic markers I want to get next, some spare notepads. These are cards that I've already made, ready to go out. And here are a couple of magazine files full of all of my basically art, like my watercolor paper. I also have my Yupo paper, and basically anything that's coming in a paper pad I stuffed in here. Below are these boxes that I have full of fabric. This one here I'll pull out, and that's all my envelopes that I have pre-made sitting there. So I use old calendars, and I use my envelope punch board, and I just score them and make them for standard size cards ready to go. I've already done last year's from around the house. And here's just a basket full of yarn and goodies that I've from Wool and the Gang. Most of it is, and those are my 2 kits that I bought. More projects on the go. This one is some yarn. I'm trying to make a cushion, so it's a whole bunch of different stuff. And these are all my bags. So one of them is full of my Zig markers, so I keep in here continuously, along with my other set of travel watercolors. These are the Peerless watercolors, so I keep them. And this is basically what I take camping, or if I know we're going away, I just grab this bag and go. I keep a few watercolor sheets in there ready to go. I also put in recently this one, which is sort of a chalky feel, but it's nice and light, and it's just simply art. They're watercolors, but they're the student grade, but they have a nice lovely chalk finish, and for some projects I quite like that. So that's in the wrong one. And then all this knitting, more yarn, and then some more projects, more yarn. And then under the desk I have my splatter box. It also has the light box, a few more pads, some laminating sheets, and then my 2 favorite sewing books. So there's the beginners and this one, which is great to have as a reference. I also have a few bits and pieces here. My Cricut sits unused down there. I haven't used it in ages, but I'm not getting rid of it either. And then I forgot, I'll pan slowly, but I did forget to show you above this on this side, sorry. We've done all of that shelf, and then above. So I've got, this is again all IKEA. It's a shelf, and it's got and then I put in like a kitchen rail directly below it with washi tapes, and then this one's got some ribbon and more washi tape in it, and then I've got some twine and my Xyron sticker maker and a few more jars full of goodies in there. And then above I have some white porcelain plates to use for mixing watercolors. This is a kitchen IKEA again, just to put height up there because I want to put stuff underneath of it. It's an old painting I did in high school, and more jars of stuff. Here's my stash for my large Fiskars press, my pan pastels. I also have my Kiritaki watercolor sitting on top of this. I don't actually like that cactus up there because I have to remove it to get to the watercolors, but I just didn't have, I was trying to move it out of the way of my son where he couldn't reach it. These here, I won't open them both, but they're basically my Prismas. So I created these myself and just made up my own pattern. And it's basically an artist roll, but it's for my Prismas. Just because the actual case, the Prismas, I got the full collection, but the case they came in was really flimsy and I didn't like it at all. So I did this up myself. So I put a bit of wadding, like quilting wadding in between the two sides just to pad it out. So because Prismas are very delicate, so I didn't want them to get banged around. So you can sort of see where there's that. I just sort of put it where the fold is so that it would be protected bottom and top, just a little bit of extra padding. But they fit really nicely. So I've got 2 of these and I just keep them rolled up there so I can just pull them out and take them wherever I want. In here is my watercolors. Now, if you'll bear with me, I'm just going to, I need 2 hands to take this down. Hold on. Okay, I pulled it down onto my desk. So yeah, those are the Kiratakis. They just didn't fit inside, so they sit on top. And then inside the drawer are all my watercolors. Well, a lot of things actually. So I've got my Prisma, these are like the skin tones, and then I've got these are pigment sticks, so I've got the Neocolor ones, the Caran d'Ache Neocolor set of 40. It's basically like, I like to think of them as watercolor pencils, but sort of in a crayon form. So I grabbed that one, and I also have Dina Wakely, she calls them scribble sticks. I've got her first set. So, and yeah, I keep all that sort of stuff in the lid just so I can see how they work. So that usually sits in the bottom one, and I have a few tubes of watercolor. Most of mine are pans, but I had to buy a few tubes. So in here are my Schminky. They live in there. And then in here, I put my Daniel Smith ones that I bought. So they live in there. So that's in the middle drawer. And then in the top drawer, I have my old Fiskars press, which does have a crack in it, but I still don't want to throw it out until I get a replacement. And then I also have the Gonzai Tombi, and these are the metallic gold ones. So I keep all that stuff in there. So that's, and then I suppose for completion, sorry, I'm just trying to slowly turn around. I probably should have started turning around the other way, but that drawer set will be eventually replaced. I don't like it, but at the moment it just stores a bunch of keepsakes, baby books, all that sort of stuff. And in the closet here, it's all storage. So everything from photo albums to, oh, I'm just moving the couch. But this side I thought I'd show you because I keep my fabric in here. And that's all my wrapping paper and boxes and things. How messy is that? All right, so that's my craft room tour. Yeah, thanks, bye.